Welcome back. Scientists in Australia are issuing a dire warning about the southern Great Barrier Reef following aerial surveys conducted last weekend. The surveys found one of the world's great natural wonders suffering from extensive coral bleaching. Scientists say it was caused by soaring ocean temperatures and heat stress, thereby fueling destructive bleaching of the reef. The surveys found they were extensive and fairly uniform across all surveyed reefs. This latest survey is raising concerns that this year could see a seventh mass bleaching event at one of the world's greatest natural wonders. Well, joining me now from Cairns, Australia is Dr. Roger BEEDEN. He is the Chief Scientist of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So you had teams from James Cook University, the Great Barrier Reef Authority, the Australian Institute of Marine Science conducting two separate studies inspecting the southern part of the reef. Overall, just explain what you saw and what is the health of the reef?
So as you say, there were two different types of studies. Some of those were in water. Those were the ones conducted by James Cook University. And then there was a set of aerial surveys. And we used different tools to help us to understand what's going on, given that the Great Barrier Reef is so genuinely vast. So the aerial surveys, they're the ones that we use to understand the extent of any impact, particularly coral bleaching. And in this case, they surveyed about 50 of the 3,000 reefs that make up the Great Barrier Reef. And those showed extensive coral bleaching, because when corals bleach, they become very visible from the air in the shallow areas around reefs. The James Cook University surveys were more focused on a smaller number of areas, but they also showed extensive coral bleaching on some of the reefs in the southern part of the Great Barrier Reef.
Dr. BEEDEN, I just want to bring up a before and after shot of a reef off the Keppel Island. Just take us through the cause of coral bleaching, and is it predominantly because of a warmer ocean?
So coral bleaching is a clear sign of stress in corals. They have they're animals, but they have a relationship with a little algae that live inside their tissues, sort of like our skin. And those algae photosynthesize and they provide energy to the corals. It's a very, very effective relationship, allows them to build huge structures like the Great Barrier Reef, and which represents about 10% of the world's reef area. But the problem is that it's actually quite sensitive to things like temperature. You can get coral bleaching from other effects as well, things like when we get lots of rainfall and potentially low salinity conditions. But when we see it at scale, it's typically because temperatures are above the level where that relationship between the coral animal and the little algae works. And so the corals actually expel the algae, and then you can see through their tissue, this sort of skin-like structure, right through to the bright white coral skeleton. That's why it's called coral bleaching. Sometimes it might be fluorescent. There are other pigments that they have. Sometimes those pigments can be very vivid. Overall, when we see it, it's a sign of stress. But really importantly, the corals are not dead at that point. So even though they are stressed, if the temperatures come back to the right levels soon enough, then we can actually see extensive recovery from even severely bleached corals.
Wow. Yeah, it is, of course, we're just seeing those aerial shots. It is one of the natural wonders of the world, a huge tourist attraction. I was visiting the reef this time last year, and it is magnificent. What can be done to prevent coral bleaching?
Well, the first thing I just want to add is that the Great Barrier Reef, again, it's truly vast, and it's the size of Italy. So even though we've got severe effects, we've got extensive coral bleaching in the southern part of the Great Barrier Reef, that doesn't mean that we've got the same conditions elsewhere. And in fact, actually, some of the other aerial surveys show the much less coral bleaching. At the moment, we've got some more aerial surveys underway so that we can fully understand the extent of coral bleaching this summer. In terms of what can be done about coral bleaching, the obvious answer to that is that the global community, we need to act on climate change, because it's climate change that's resulting in changing water temperatures across the planet. And we're seeing coral bleaching effects across all of the world's coral reefs. Has been particularly acute and early in the last 12 months because of the El Nino event exacerbating those temperatures. But we can do things locally, and that's what we're focused on at the Reef Authority. We focus upon making sure that we have a very effective zoning program. So that's actually where you're allowed to fish, where you're not allowed to fish. We know that reefs that are fully protected bounce back more quickly from impacts like coral bleaching. We also have an extensive crown of thorn starfish control program, so to remove that particular pressure. We also have lots of work going on improving water quality, and it's the combination of these measures on local scale pressures that can take some of the pressure off as corals are having to adjust to a rapidly changing climate.
And just quickly, is a fear that this could be the 7th mass bleaching event. What exactly does that mean? What would it take to describe it as that sort of an event?
Well, we certainly aren't at that point at the moment. It's the aerial surveys that allow us to understand the full extent of what's going on with coral bleaching. And then we have in-water surveys that tell us about the severity of bleaching. So what's happening on an individual coral level or through to, whole colonies and individual reefs. It takes a time to build that sort of jigsaw puzzle of information. You'd all imagine that when it's a size that this particular system is, that you get a lot of variability in there. And so before we make any statements about what the overall picture is, then we collect all of the information using satellites, aerial surveys, and in-water surveys so that we can then describe it properly. So we're not at a point where we would describe it in those terms at the moment. The temperature stress patterns are certainly concerning, and that's why we're putting in place the aerial surveys that we're doing right now.
All right, well, we will check in with you again once you get some more information, but great to have you on the program. Dr. Roger BEEDEN, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm Linda Kincaid. African Voices Changemakers is coming up next. Then I'll be back in about 30 minutes with much more CNN Newsroom.